Save the Hills is an NGO based in Kalimpong, India, working in the field of landslide disaster management in the Darjeeling Sikkim Himalayas, which is perhaps one of the most landslide-prone areas in the world. The reasons for this are undoubtedly that A. The Himalayas are the youngest mountain ranges in the world and are still in the process of settling down. B. We receive some of the heaviest rainfall, approximately 3,000 millimeters, most of it coming down within a 5-month May to September period during the southwest monsoons. C. There has been a tremendous increase in anthropogenic activity in the mountains as population rises all along the Himalayas. In June 2013, Save the Hills applied for the FedEx Award for Innovations in Disaster Preparedness, which is an award given at the global level for an innovative intervention that reduces the community's vulnerability to hazards or natural disasters and increases their capacity to prevent or cope with such adverse events. We are extremely proud to state that in August 2013, we were intimated by Interaction that Save the Hills was one of the 6 NGOs which was shortlisted for the award. What makes this absolutely amazing is that we are competing with the world's best, the other NGOs being A. Food for the Hungry, B. Habitat for Humanity, C. Mercy Corps, D. Teachers Without Borders, E. Global Food Banking Network. On the occasion of our 7th anniversary this week, we bring you excerpts from the webinar held on 12 September 2013. While thanking Interaction and FedEx for this tremendous honor at being able to be shortlisted with the world's best in disaster risk reduction, we look forward with optimism and hope to 17th October 2013, when the final results will be announced in Washington, D.C.
Danielle?
Yes.
The start broadcast, you didn't need to do anything.
I'll do all of that, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And everyone, just so you know, Julie Montgomery works here at Interaction, and she's going to be our moderator today.
Yes, hi, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for presenting and submitting your work to the award. We're really excited to share the great work that you're doing with others.
Daniel, I'm Boful. Can I interrupt?
Sure.
Daniel, will there be video streaming also?
Yes, well, it's not video streaming, it's just a webinar. Okay. Should we wait? I think we'll wait like 2 more minutes before we go ahead and go live.
This is Mario.
Do we have a wrap-up or a debrief as a group before we all sign off, Daniel?
We can do that.
My name is Julie Montgomery. I'm the Director of Innovation and Learning at Interaction, and I'm here with my colleague Danielle Heiberg, who really organized this whole webinar, and she's online helping to manage the presentations and the Q&A, so really all the credit goes to her. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's webinar focusing on innovations in disaster preparedness. I'd also like to thank all the presenters from all around the world. I know some are really, it's very late where they are, and they've taken the time to present the great work that they're doing on disaster preparedness. We're really excited to launch this webinar series on DRR. It's the first of 3 webinars that lead up to DRR Day on October 17th in Washington, D.C. We'd also like to thank our sponsor, FedEx, who has helped make this series happen. And it's really their support on our work and the area of disaster preparedness. So the first 2 will actually be video presentations, but they will be available to answer any questions at the end. And the reason why we did video is we were a little worried about the connection. So the first is Praful will be presenting from Save the Hills, India. Next, Jennifer will be presenting from Mercy Corps, Mongolia. Third, Lauren will be presenting from Food for the Hungry in Peru. Fourth will be Mario, and he will be speaking from Habitat for Humanity in Tajikistan. 5 Fred will be speaking about their international program on girls, quake science, and safety, and he's from Teachers Without Borders. And then finally, Chris will be speaking on their international program for food bank leaders from the Global Food Banking Network.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lauren Woodside, and I work for Food for the Hungry in Peru. And this morning I want to share with you all about our efforts to improve community resilience by, let's see if I can hide this screen. There we go. Maybe you can see better now. To improve community resilience by helping communities come up with their own disaster risk reduction plans.
The next, we will be going to Mario, and he will be presenting his work, or talk about Habitat for Humanity's work in Tajikistan.
All right, thank you very much. And Habitat for Humanity's project, it's one that addresses structural mitigation in order to reduce earthquake risk in Tajikistan.
So next we're going to move on to Fred, who will be presenting from Teachers Without Borders, and he'll be talking about their international program on girls' quake science and safety.
So let me begin again, sorry. This project is about how earthquake science education saves lives. In 2001, I saw schools in India that had recently dissolved like sandcastles from the Gujarat earthquake. The teachers I met knew little about the science of quakes. None of them had a safety plan. In 2004, schools we saw just buckled in the earthquake in Kashmir. We mobilized our local partners and we sent winterized tents, and we added some information about construction just before the heavy snows. And I'm sure we saved lives, but it seemed like charity. It didn't seem like safety or education.
So next we will be turning to Chris, and Chris is presenting from the Global Food Banking Network, and he will be talking about an international program that they have for food bank leaders.
GFN is a U.S.-based nonprofit dedicated to supporting food banks where they exist and helping to start them where they are needed. We currently work in more than 25 countries to bring resources to food banks to enhance their capacity and input, and in another half dozen countries to help establish food bank operations. Nearly 1/3 of the world's 850 million hungry people live in the countries that GFN touches.
So we will now go to two videos. We'll show, the first will be Save the Hills, India. There will be a video presentation when we tried to show earlier. And then the one after that will be Mercy Corps Mongolia's video about their work.
I am Praful Rao, founding president of Save the Hills, an NGO based in Kalimpong, which is a small town located in the Darjeeling Sikkim Himalaya in India. The Himalayas are the youngest mountain ranges in the world, and being young, they are capable of a lot of mischief. Thus, we live in an area which has the highest landslide fatalities in the world. And as if to prove this point, we had the devastating landslide and flood disaster of Uttarakhand in the western Himalayas in June 2013, where 5,000 to 6,000 people lost their lives. Climate change and the unprecedented anthropogenic interference as population explodes along the Himalayas is another double whammy which is adding to the problems. In this scenario, Save the Hills has single-handedly succeeded in highlighting the severity of the landslide problem of this region to a worldwide audience. Our blog, Visions of Hell, has more than 97,000 page views, and we have conducted, organized or participated in more than 80 seminars and workshops and collaborated in the making of 3 documentary films on landslides. This initiative is paying off in that many institutions and organizations from India and abroad have visited us, and will result in more funds and research being done to manage the landslides in a better way, as well as to teach us to live in the best way possible with this hazard. Since all our landslides are rain-induced, we monitor rainfall continuously with a network of automatic rainfall gauges which we have installed. Each month we publish the rainfall data in our blog with an analysis of weather systems which cause the rain and the associated landslide reports. As a part of Save the Hills Stormwatch, we monitor adverse weather activity in the Bay of Bengal continuously on broadband internet with a view to provide early warning to communities on any major weather system which may affect us. The formation and movement of all major weather systems in the Bay of Bengal for the last 3 years is documented in the blog. Since our inception in 2007, digital technology and the internet has been the lifeblood of Save the Hills. Today, all our landslide surveys make extensive use of GPS readings and of Google Earth and Google Maps. And we have experimented successfully with the setting up of an SMS-based early warning system. Besides this, we are also the first organization to introduce vetiver grass in this area for soil erosion control on an experimental basis. If successful, it would provide an environment-friendly yet cost-effective way of checking soil erosion. Realizing that a community which is aware, prepared and trained is the most effective way to build resilience, we have carried out community-based disaster risk reduction in several rural communities, but much more needs to be done in this regard. As such, Save the Hills intends to push much more aggressively with this work in the future. By highlighting the severity of the landslide problem in this area, it is being viewed much more seriously at all levels, and we have brought a glimmer of hope in the lives of many. Though a lot remains to be done, at least a beginning has been made. Thank you all very much.
Okay, great. So I think you're going to do the next one. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Julie.
Perfect.
Mercy Corps is pleased to introduce the Livestock Early Warning System. The Livestock Early Warning System project was designed to replicate effective strategies that allow rural families to prepare for and respond to pastoral risk. The goal of LOOS is to provide timely information to both public and private sectors of impending weather events and environmental conditions. To enable preparations to be made by government entities and herders to avert losses of livestock, damage to pasture lands, and threats to local economies. After traveling millions of kilometers on backcountry tracks and spending thousands of hours analyzing samples and data, the LOOS system now generates 12 different kinds of maps that inform stakeholders from grassroots to national power.